can tell our friends, and they can have my things when we're dead. But we gonna live forever. We gonna live forever. The Boys Cast.
Oh shit!
Before we started, so I needed to show you this. So this is I watched this 500 times. Demi Lovato. This is. You're familiar with Demi Lovato?
I've heard of her, yeah.
Came out of the closet, bisexual.
Hates ice cream shop workers.
What was her problem with ice cream shop workers?
She was like, basically, she was mad at ice cream shops because she had to she has like a weight problem and then she had to like walk through one or something. And they
Come
were
on.
like, yeah, she had some big thing with ice cream.
She's sort of the nerve of them rubbing the ice cream in her face.
You know what's interesting too?
Making her want to rub it on her
remember,
body.
You know Bobby Slayton? You know
No.
Bobby Slayton, the comic? He's like the old school comic. He's like, you know his face for sure. He's like a real like old school kind of comic dude. Super tanned. He's like really gravelly voice.
Yeah, greasy.
But yeah, so anyways, he was on fucking Rogan, I think, like years ago. Or either Rogan or Mark Maron. This would have been 10 years ago. And he was like, his daughter, I guess, is a singer. And he was fucking being like, Demi Lovato is such a cunt.
Like, he didn't like her.
Oh, he hated her.
Well, that's what I think that was.
She's fucking insane. She's
which is sort of going to be the theme of the episode, is all these people that were pandering it's been botching. You know, all these people. You're not even getting your points for pandering. But Demi Lovato.
Okay, here's the thing. Demi Lovato called out a Los Angeles frozen yogurt shop for promoting harmful diet culture.
Well, yeah, she's telling them that they shouldn't be 8,000 pounds.
Well, basically, yeah, it says finding it extremely hard to order froyo from the Big Chill official when you have to walk past tons of sugar-free cookies, other diet foods before you get to the counter. Do better,
bullshit,
please.
Dude. Yeah, I think they should.
Imagine telling an ice cream shop to do better.
You're a fucking multi-millionaire from Hollywood going to some guy. It's like
his froyo shop. I'm telling him to
scraped his money together.
Yeah.
Start a
But her
froyo
thing
shop.
is, she's like, yeah, I'm fucking totally mentally ill. So you're like that's kind of like, she really leans into the fact that she is mentally ill and all that stuff. So then you're like, okay, yeah, I guess this is
mentally ill is a little bit of the one with the same as when everyone's like, just so you know, I'm a queer. And
yeah,
you go, we were just saying that. Like, it's the same thing with mentally ill, where people are like, and I have a mental condition, because they go, this guy's bad and this guy's bad, and on top of that, I have a mental condition.
But it honestly is the one thing that you go, if you're like just watching, you go, oh yeah, that kind of explains it. This kind of explains all the shit that you're fucking
it's
doing.
the same thing with that guy we talked about on the Patreon. Yasser Ali or
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
And then at the end, he's like, also, I am depressed and mentally deranged.
Yeah, and you go, okay, actually.
Dude, they'll say things like that. They'll be like, I have a condition where I'm mentally deranged.
Yeah.
Anyway, this guy's bad, this guy's bad, this guy's bad, this guy's
It's like,
bad.
you know, we've had like severe alcoholic friends who they tell you about all this crazy shit they do, and it's because they're an alcoholic.
Right.
You go, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, but
do this stuff.
so she's, not only is she, Hollywood pander thing, right?
Uh-huh.
But she's, I didn't realize how dumb she was. When I listened to this thing, it really did kind of opened my eyes.
The clip Corinne sent?
The clip Corinne sent.
Oh,
I go,
amazing.
Basically what happens is she's doing an interview, long press day, pre-bisexual. Now she only talks about her all the
lack of
pussy she
gender.
eats. But yeah, so she comes on. And then, fun press day. She's just in there. And then at the end of it, someone goes, one more fun question. What's your favorite dish? So this is what they say.
And your favorite dish? My favorite dish? I like mugs because they're very comfortable in your hand and they hold the hot things that you don't have to touch. So, coffee or hot tea. And
Big dish fan.
Again, mentally ill.
That's so
like, if you
fucking
frame everything in the fact that she's a mentally ill person, you go, yeah.
What's your favorite dish?
Soap?
I like forks.
Soap?
Can you believe that? You go, you have to, you literally have to be out of your mind for someone to ask you what your favorite dish is. And you say a mug.
Like, what do you think she was like, it's either like a mug or a saucer.
A saucer, maybe.
Maybe a saucer.
And then she explains, it kind of explains, even when they're talking about, minorities and all these people, and it's like, it's hard for them to even get out of bed anymore. It's like, because I'm rich and I can barely do it. It's hard for these people to feed themselves. I'm a multimillionaire, and sometimes I put the spoon up to the side of my head instead of my mouth. And then she explains to the camera person, or the interviewer, and she goes, because you can put various things in there,
Yeah,
like juice,
coffee or tea.
coffee,
and it keeps,
tea.
And then she's explaining the dynamics, like the technical dynamics of a mug. She goes, because there's the handle, and the handle is away from the actual hot fluid. So there's this space in between. It's pretty ingenious, to be honest.
Whoever thought
Whoever
your
invented-
favorite dish is a mug? That's like I'm just
Even
like,
if they were talking about like whatever, like fucking kitchenware or whatever,
Yeah.
still a mug,
yeah,
like
top
not
dish.
like a bowl
a wine glass
or whatever. Like you're just like
These-
First off, a mug's not a dish.
You have to be the
You
dumbest
eat
person
it. No,
in the world.
a dish you don't drink out of a dish.
But before, okay,
unless
before-
you're a dog. Dogs drink out of dishes.
there you go.
Yeah.
So maybe she does.
Oh,
I just wanted to say some dates before we get started too. It's Naples is July 22nd to 25, Liberty OH, and August 4th, Columbus August 5th, Kansas City Improv, and that's August 6th. 7th, Omaha is August 8th. Plano, Texas is August 26th to 27th. I'm probably going to do Moon Tower in Austin, and Skankfest is November 5th to 7th. Did you get offer on that yet? I know they're
I haven't heard
asking.
from it, no.
She asked me, so I know
okay.
you're doing it.
Oh, okay, sweet.
But all those dates, so you want to come out. And then
there's a lot of states that I've never been to.
we just finished, yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, I've never been to. Isn't Oklahoma City one of them or some point? Or
I don't know. I just actually
got.
got a message from someone being like, you put the wrong state for one of them.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I don't know, dude. But we just finished Caroline's this weekend, and one of the sort of ongoing threads from the weekend was Justin had a girl, and that is a friend. So he's like, Danny, can you wingman for me? And then he came back in, and he goes, hey, what the hell? That girl was around. You didn't talk to her at all. And Danny was sitting there eating a second pound of wings. And
Yeah,
he
it goes
oh.
literally face covered. I had the full bib.
Oh, my God.
I had like the bib and everything. I'm just fucking.
I'm so
pounding.
sorry, dude. I was sure this is what you meant. I thought you wanted to wing. You asked me if I could be a wingman, and I go, never has a favor been so easy.
That would be my alternate Jewish name, Wingman.
Well, so I remember this. This used to make me. This used to drive me nuts. In Toronto, there was a band called Wing Night, and so I remember twice I got fooled by this. Dude, I'm not kidding.
That's actually funny by them though.
It's insane. So
That's funny.
I'm going around, and you go to the place, and there's a big sign on the door that says Wing Night, and then legitimately you walk in, you go, hey, the wings are all like the normal price. Is there like a thing? And they go, no, the band's called Wing Night. And you look on stage as some guy, someone getting the best, the best, the best, the best of you. Anyways, tomorrow
And then you
tomorrow
get-
the band coming through is half price drinks.
Yeah, and then they're like, it turns out that's one of those places like the rare place where the wings are like really expensive, like they're just too like.
It was insane. I'm like, you guys should all be ashamed of yourself.
You can only do that if you don't sell wings. You get in there, you go, hey, I'd like some wings. They go, oh, we actually don't sell wings. That's the band's name.
Yeah, it was a scam and a half.
That's
but the
funny.
funniest thing, I talked to my.
I did a joke once where I was like, you should do a comedy show or like whatever, any sort of show called just like Missing Person, and then you like put signs everywhere because everybody always goes.
Actually, yeah, that.
You go check them out, and then you're like, huh? And
Well,
then-
I've been thinking that might be a funny stage thing, and that would be the logical place that it would go. You're right. So the funny, just this before we even like really get into this, so I finished the thing, and I talked to my mom. Like, how people's parents always fucking you talk to them and. A lot of people. It was making me laugh. My mom's very big in like just everyone else's mom. They've got a lot of advice, but it's very like you got to be grateful and this and that.
yeah.
And I was just like,
Ryan's mom's also a total libtard.
my mom's nothing. She doesn't.
I thought she was. I thought
No,
was
she
like
goes.
a
No, she's like nothing.
Frappuccino.
But she's never voted. She never done
Oh, okay.
anything. She just spent a month mainlining
okay.
CNN
Oh,
in the
yeah, yeah.
pandemic.
Oh, right,
Now
right.
she's back to
Oh,
like
she's back to
whatever.
normal.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, she's back,
But
she's
so
back.
she literally. I go. She's like, I go, yeah. So we're doing Caroline's this weekend or whatever, the shows. But the problem is, the air condition was broken the whole weekend. And it was like a whole debacle because people in the crowd are like legitimately like fanning themselves off. It was so hot. We're on stage sweating and they couldn't figure it out. So it was a kind of a pain in the ass and people were, not stoked about it. It kind of makes people tired. It's 101 in a comedy club. Keep it cold, the same as a casino.
Yeah.
It's the same. I mean, think about anyone who's been out in the sun for a long period of time, you obviously get more tired.
100%.
Whereas when if you're standing out in a freezing ice room, you wouldn't be tired, you would just be cold. So that's kind of why they do these things. And it was you could just feel people getting sleepy at the end of a fucking 2-hour show, or not even at the first person, especially during Danny's set. They were specifically tired.
Dude, I caught fucking a few people snoozing.
So, yeah, they call me the alarm clock. And spoiler alert, the snooze button's broken. But I told my mom this, and she goes, you can't always live in the past. You have to, just be grateful for what you have.
I mean, it was this weekend.
I go, I'm on my way there now.
Yeah, you're like, this is a current problem.
Legitimately. And she literally was going on and on about it. Well, it just feels like you're living in this moment that happened. She goes, you can't let the things in the past of your life define you. I go, next time you have your air condition broken at your house, I'm just going to be like, Mom, you just need to be more grateful.
Here's the difference.
It's like, what are you out of your mind?
Like my mother,
just like pure
if I told her that the air conditioning didn't work, she would be like the most.
Did you complain?
Yeah, she'd be like, "Oh, what are you gonna do about it?"
Did you profit off it?
Yeah, you go, what are you gonna do about it?
Wow.
What did they get a refund?
Have you considered starting an air condition business?
Are they gonna?
It seems
like,
like
are
there's
they
a
gonna
market for it.
Are they gonna move it to a different weekend? The best was when we got there and the fucking guy, I can't remember his name, but he was like, by the way, Ryan just spit coffee on his computer. But he said, yeah, the last comedian who was here was Modi, who's Modi's like the Jewish
old
comedian,
Jews.
old Jew, and he goes, how do you think that audience felt about the fucking no air
They
conditioning?
weren't happy.
There were a lot of requests for partial refunds.
Yeah.
A lot of partial refund requests.
She's going on and on about, like, she's like, it was very LA. It's like the LA attitude. And I was sort of arguing, this is the attitude of non-successful people.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's always these people where they're like, you just got to be grateful what you have, blah, blah. And you're like, you're not doing good.
No.
You need to also be hungry.
Yeah.
But more importantly
it's
than
fine
that,
to be.
it was a real problem.
Yeah, it's fine to be grateful, but you can't just be like, every time you have a problem, be like,
well,
it could be worse.
You know what? My car got smashed into and I broke my leg. I'm so happy I exist. I'm just like, so what I've been doing is.
I wonder if she maybe read this book I'm reading. So one, like Jordan Peterson has his
Straight conversion
his book list or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
So I ordered a couple books off of it, and one of them is the one he talks about all the time. It's called Man's Search for Meaning, and it's by this guy. It's actually really good. It's by this guy who was in the Holocaust, allegedly. And no, I've only started reading it for the past couple weeks. But his whole thing is like literally like, yeah, it could always be worse. Like it's like you could be in the Holocaust. Kind of.
That's
thing.
how he lives
so
his
I
whole
wonder
life.
If I wonder if she read that.
She read some shit like that.
Like I wonder if she read some of that shit where he's like.
But here's the problem. My mom is a Karen.
I know.
This is the problem. This woman will send back a fucking fry if it's overcooked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so what I do is I
so
get her
she's not
husband
like-
on the phone and I go, put him on the speakerphone. I go, are you hearing this? I go, next time you guys have a problem, something's not coming on time, your washer and dryer is broken, make sure that you remember her advice that you guys just need to be. Honestly, if anything, it should be taking longer.
I mean, if their air conditioning broke for an hour now, they would be livid. If
she would be out of her mind.
Like if the guy goes, "Oh, we're waiting on the part. It'll be a couple of weeks." Your mom would fucking go ballistic.
They would go ballistic. So they all live. It was just like pure Hollywood stuff where it's like, my mom's gone Hollywood.
Yeah.
But they have all of these, slogans. So me and Danny are doing a video about it this week. I mean, I've been talking about this on stage and stuff too, but the woman who stabbed her kid, and it's like, I just needed to go through that. I think I need to focus on me. And it's like, hey, you lost your, sometimes I think it was the crack. Hey, don't ever regret anything that made you smile. I just miss my old teeth. I know I have my own. Goes, hey, you didn't lose your teeth. They lost you. Shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
it's just platitudes.
It's
like
just nonsense, right? And they live their lives like this. But anyways, it's very Hollywood. But
does your mom have in her house anywhere like the Live Laugh Love?
I don't know about Live Laugh Love, but the Live Laugh Love affiliates.
Yeah. I remember the girl I used to date from North Bay. She
had it.
Her friends, we would go to their places in North Bay.
Live, Laugh, Eat.
They all had them, like literally, and they were like crooked in cursive,
Oh
and they were like,
God.
they sell them at like Home Sense.
Too much.
Loved it.
So this there was like 10 or 11 things, and it's getting, Danny said to me this morning, he was kind of like, dude, this whole thing's going topsy-turvy. What were your exact words? Because we were talking about Shawn King, and you said,
well,
you're like, this whole thing's going flip.
Well, people are just basically bailing. They're complete. What did I say? So in the comments, we talk about Shawn King, Talcum X, which is so.
No, you said the tide's majorly turning.
Oh, the tide's for him, yeah. For him specifically.
But kind of in general, everyone who does these things where they come out and they pander, like there was 5 this week. I mean, literally, it wasn't even going to be a theme of the episode. We were just going to talk about different things. But like, there was 5 that came out of people trying to pander, and they got fucking blasted.
By the bait, like the people who you think would be most welcome.
By the demo.
By the demo, yeah.
The pandering
by like
demo.
the softball demo.
And I've been saying this forever, because we actually sit in front of real people and tell them fucking jokes. And if you go, no one really likes being pandered to. Like when a white comic goes on and it's like, we're so bad and you're so great, black people, like it makes everyone feel icky.
Yeah. And I think I will say this is like, maybe there was a period where people felt very like underrepresented, and then that first bit of pandering did feel good.
There was a nice bit of pandering out
because
of the
it
gate.
didn't feel like pandering. It felt like maybe a little bit of like catching up, and like, but then it was like, oh, you guys are like just you're not stopping.
No one wants to fucking go to a movie and the movie is, oh, you're so sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that.
Aren't we so bad?
You know, people were always like talking about the critical race thing, and then, but it's like, and the argument is,
I don't talk about critical race.
Whatever.
I talk about criminal race theory. Next week on Stefan Molyneux's podcast.
But the argument's always centered around the one side of it, where it's like, oh, you're telling white kids they're bad or whatever. Mm-hmm. But there's also the whole other sect that's like, don't tell my kid that, like, you know what I mean, that the world's against him. You know what I mean? There's also the other side.
Kids
where
don't get this shit. It's like when you're from a young age, you're like. Although at the same time, I'm sure there are a lot of like fucking kind of based white dads who's like, the world's against you, right?
Yeah.
But they're not like telling them they're bad.
Yeah,
They're
but
just
that's
saying,
not
like,
how you. But again, this is not how you. But I think I was thinking about it. It's like, because you don't. That's not how you breed winners, obviously. But you know what? It is how you breed soldiers. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that stuff, it all is. At the end of the day, who does Al Qaeda recruit? Who do white nationalist groups recruit? Like, who does social justice groups recruit?
People always.
They recruit
Activists.
victims.
Well, victims too, but it's
People
always
that see
people who are
themselves
like
as victims.
very impressionable people. Like,
Impressionable.
like people who could really go either way.
But it's all
Just
hand in
depend-
hand, though. You're
yeah.
very impressionable when you're told,
Totally. So that the Shawn King thing, I don't know if you saw exactly, but like so.
Well, let's talk about the Karen trailer first.
Okay. Let's go with the Karen trailer.
Yeah. So this is the first big. I'd say this is the big one of the month where it came out, and everyone across the board. So their new movie, it's like a ripoff of Get Out.
Yeah.
And it's a white neighbor moves next door.
Called
Karen.
Holy shit! Like what?
It's fucking wild.
It's
watch it right now if you have not.
Yeah, watch the Karen trailer.
And they go, we have a racist living next door, an entitled white bitch. And she sits there and she goes, I don't like black people. And then they find she's got a Confederate flag
yeah,
mug.
little mug
She
or
lives in
whatever.
the suburbs.
And then it's like there's like a scene with the cops, and he's like,
well, the cops are
and
her brother or something. Her
exactly.
and the cop. Of
yeah,
a
they're
thing,
hot
yeah.
cops, and they're like, "Don't move, son." And he like calls the black guy boy. And
if
like,
you literally took every trope about it and you like, and this is why it seems like a sketch.
it does seem like
I got tagged in it 100 times being like, did Ryan Long make
the
this?
only thing that was missing from it was like her and maybe what was in there, but like her asking to
she
talk
says
to the
to
manager.
speak to the manager.
Does
for
she?
Sure. She has to. It
But
wasn't
like in the trailer.
In the trailer.
Yeah, but it's like that's the only thing that was missing.
Or when she slits their throat, she looks at them and she goes, maybe you should speak to the manager. Oh.
I am the manager.
Twist, I am the manager.
And you know what? I bet like that was one of the initial cuts of the trailer had something about talking to the manager, and then someone made like the big executive decision. You go, maybe just take the manager thing out.
Too on the nose.
Yeah, but everything else is good.
So it's out of control, right? This thing is, and it's maybe the worst thing that's ever. But then on top of that, it's like pandering. But on top of all of that, it sucks. And then even on top of that, they fucking stole it from Get Out.
Yeah.
Like, Get Out came out and it was like the black horror thing was popping. You know what I mean? A bunch of those kind of came out that were similar. But it's like this one, it was like, this is almost the fucking exact plot line. And you just shoehorned in more
Similar,
tropes.
but it didn't have like the cool, like, you know, like kind of like the sci-fi stuff, and like it's just way less cool, super just basic.
Dude, they're out of ideas, and we're actually doing a sketch this week. We have some pretty fucking funny ones coming out, but it's like how Hollywood makes movies, and it's one guy that wants to make movies, the other guy's like Ninja Turtles, but Ninja Girdles. How about this? Last Man Standing, but instead of Tim Allen, it's a woman who hates Tim Allen.
Look at this! Look at this! The fucking I'm looking at the Wikipedia of this right now. It goes one of the notes. The trailer was released via YouTube on June 17th, 2021. It was instantly ratioed. This is on Wikipedia.
Yeah,
love it.
But they're in their
It's
mind.
a BET original movie.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's whoever makes it, but like whoever was involved in this thing, it was like pandering to a certain group, and they're fucking not happy about it.
Oh, it is by a black guy.
Well,
so that's
I would assume that movie's by a black guy. That would be. I would have.
That would be a crazy one if it was by.
No, but I
but
mean
that could be like the
probably,
ultimate white kind of like fucking self-flagellation.
Well, I mean, there's lots of people involved in a movie getting greenlit, and you know, it's a system of the.
Yeah.
But anyways, that got fucking blasted to hell.
That's funny.
Shawn King, you can. Explain the Shawn King
this guy
thing.
looks. By the way, the writer and director of.
Looks like Shawn King. Oh my God.
He looks exactly.
Show me again.
He looks exactly like Shawn King.
What's his name?
Coke Daniels.
That's wild.
Damon
dude.
Coke Daniels.
This guy looks exactly,
like Shawn King. One of my favorite things too about this was that everybody's like, "Oh, you stole," like that's literally like what Hollywood does is they repurpose
That's what
ideas.
they do.
It's like.
Yeah. No, but they don't like it. You're like, hey, listen, if you're going to be making movies in Hollywood, we're going to steal them and make them again.
Yeah, exactly.
But my point is, the reason why it's hard is because it's the old meme where you're the lasers and you're going through the lasers.
Yeah.
Like making movies that are supposed to represent people. They just had another one in a film festival that came out, and it was about Latinos or whatever, right? But they didn't have enough like dark Latinos.
Right.
And the guy made a big apology. And it was just like making a movie like that's supposed to serve this purpose of like being the, you know, underrepresented voices or whatever. You're like, hey, we're part of the good guys movies is so fucking hard. Like you'd get less flack right now by making your fucking swastika film.
Oh, for sure.
Because they just won't pay attention to it. You're kind of sticking your head out and you go, I am God. I am here to help. And everyone goes, that's not how you fucking help. I'm the guy who helps.
He's probably
You
so
think that
like,
helps?
yeah, and he's probably so blindsided by the response. He's like,
He
what?
thought-
Like,
no, he was sitting at home like waiting.
I'm the
for
next Jordan Peele. Like
Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
he's like probably writing his Oscar, like
He's writing
his speech, being like his fucking acceptance speech.
He's writing his Oscar speech. He's just like, when's, you know, the bitches, I'm going to be fucking
Yeah, he's
bathing
like this,
in white
he's like, this is
dreadlock
gonna
pussy.
be so crazy. He's like, I'm gonna take all,
And then while I'm
all
at-
that Shawn King pussy.
And then
that
after
he's
I have
losing.
sex with them, I'm going to tell them why their dreadlocks are bad.
I think of like, you know, the Spider-Man meme where they're like pointing at each other and it's literally him and Shawn King just being
Yeah, dude. So,
Fuck.
So why is Shawn King getting lit
So
up?
Shawn King's getting lit up. So this
This has happened before.
This happened before. He's has been a slow progression. The interesting thing is he really was this darling, and it was the right that kind of started like this process of chipping away at who he really is.
Okay.
And then everybody like started really buying into it, and he kind of exposed himself. But so the most recent thing is Tamir Rice, who was like a black kid killed by a cop or whatever, like
Yeah.
10 years ago. I guess he went and like without the mother's consent, like raised all this money for like using the kid's murder and then kept it. The mom basically came out like yesterday or today, blasted him for it, being like, I didn't give you permission for it. Like this is all kinds of fucked up. And now like, if you go look on his, cause he has like over 1 million followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
But like, if you look on Twitter now, so he mostly retweets stuff just so people can't really, like reply to it.
Yeah.
Right. And then, but when he does fucking like actually tweet something, it's all just like, fuck you, like whatever it is. So here's his most recent, tweet that he actually tweeted. Where is it? It's all retweets because literally it's the only thing people can't. So
Well,
he goes, here's the single most, this is today, the single most underrated and underanalyzed victory. It was a New York municipal politics thing. Right. And it's all just basically, thanks, fellow white man. You give snake oil salesmen a bad name. Can you add black fishing next to your name so I can be prepared when I see you trending? Thanks. And it's all black people.
Yeah.
Like they're just
They're
like
not happy with it.
they're all literally like, yo, Talcum X, get the fuck out. Like they're
Right.
all on board of the fact that he's a white guy. They're like, let's see your fucking DNA thing.
Well, you know why I didn't like him? Because it was that thing. I guess it was the same as like how some girls operate, but he's the ultimate in something happens, it's wishy-washy, and he posts the photo and the address. He like doxes people, right?
People, for sure.
So that's his whole thing. He'll post like, there'll be like a video where you're not sure what happens, and he'll post a thing like, hey, find out who this guy is.
Yeah.
Sends like his research team basically, and then he goes, we found the guy's name. He lives them. Like, get
Yeah,
him.
he was fucking
and then
crazy.
like
Get him.
lots of times it comes out, hey, that's not actually what happened.
With the
And he's
Karens,
already on to the next
he was
one.
a big,
So he's like, his whole life is go get him, guys.
Well, especially with the Karen stuff, funny enough, was like when the Karens would come out and like sometimes like it wasn't
some
always,
old lady fucking
yeah, like it wasn't they were always in the wrong, like and
Yeah,
then he would
sometimes
literally be like, here's her address, go fuck their life up.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Sometimes it was like an old lady that was in the dog park and she goes, oh, I called the cops on this guy and it was rude and fucking maybe whatever, racist, depending on how you look at it. And then there's some times where it's like, no, I was like robbed.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a pretty funny one though. So people are just like ripping on him so hard, but
Okay.
a new nickname for him, Hueless P. Newton.
What's that? I don't get it.
Hueless, like Hugh, like
Oh,
Hueless P.
who's
Newton.
P. Newton?
Huey P. Newton. I don't know. It's some famous
All right.
person. Anyways.
Well, I don't like it that much because I don't get either of the references. So this is okay, and this second one, so that's in the Hollywood world, then in the Instagram world, then in fucking the restaurant world and the corporation world. This happens a lot, and I've had this same. I can't believe it still happens, but so. IKEA's Juneteenth menu of watermelon and fried chicken.
But
Can
like,
you believe
it's
that?
it's such a hard one because I'm like, look, if you're going to make a thing out of Juneteenth, and you want like, what else are you gonna serve?
No, but my point is, you can't. This
Just
is the
don't.
thing. They go. But I mean, how many? There's literally
had
every like black comedian at one point has had some joke being like, "There's a stereotype where you like black fried chicken." Like, yeah, but we do.
I'm
like
pretty
every
sure,
other,
too,
you know,
that-
it's like Italians. You know, for some reason, there's like more connotation to it, so it becomes this thing that is offensive. But because it's used that way or whatever. But if you go to Italian, like this guy likes pizza, whatever,
Yeah,
it's
of
like,
course.
yeah, I do. So it is one of those things where you're like, hey, that is something that we like, but you can't do it. And you go, so what should I serve food you don't like? And you go, you do have to.
Yeah, literally just here's mayonnaise and white bread sandwiches. Happy Juneteenth, everybody.
I guess what's like you have to pick non-offensive foods, I guess.
It's just a lose-lose.
Because you go, what do we serve Spanish food? They go, okay, we can't do that. So legitimately the only thing you could serve, I guess, would be like a hamburger maybe. And then they serve us white food. So literally there is no, but this one where they serve the fried chicken thing, that has happened so many times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And apparently they go to honor and preserve the Black Americans. So the employees said, look out for a special menu on Saturday, which includes fried chicken, watermelon, mac and cheese, blah, 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 blah. And then
It's like sounds fucking great.
they go,
menu.
it sounds what?
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Yeah, they go, but an anonymous employee, a lot of people are upset and blah, blah, blah. And there were only white people involved in doing this.
course.
And that's when it came out. And it was like, it is so
The best
funny,
is
though.
the best is when they got the funny thing is they went and got input. They go, okay, what black people, what should we change it to at work? We're sorry. And they go, just swap out the fried chicken for meatloaf and remove the watermelon. You're like, okay, did you just win a huge battle right now?
No, but really, it is, I guess, more importantly, again, this is probably just more white people getting mad too. It's like, you can't, like, you have to remember that these things aren't actually about, the people getting mad
Imagine a bunch of like Jews. They go, oh, we're celebrating Holocaust remembrance. Here's a bunch of bagels. And Jews are like, are you fucking kidding me?
But it wouldn't be the bagels. It would be like the, fucking the hall monitor class, they're the ones that are getting mad. Yeah.
Totally. But I'm saying most
I'm sure that if you ask
Jews
most
would
black
just
people,
be
they
like,
wouldn't care.
would be like sick. Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, would any of our friends care?
No.
They imagine you did Ethiopian food and you did an empty plate.
Imagine like
the classic joke.
It's not like, hey, here's China Appreciation Day. Here's a bunch of bats.
Would you be? Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? They're like, we don't actually eat bats. Come on, guys. Like that would be legitimately go, this is fucking like fucked up.
Yeah.
But they're
that'd
like,
be a lot.
oh, hey, we got like some.
Like if they did a fucking Jewish Remembrance Day and they serve you a plate of Palestinian blood
and a whole hog, and you're like, here you go, like that.
pig with an apple in its
Yeah,
mouth.
with an apple in its
and it
mouth.
had the Jewish hat on.
Yeah,
the
and with a
pig's head.
keep on, you're like, here you go, guys.
Yeah, that you go. This seems like it a lot.
Yeah, this seems like you're trying to send a message here, not a positive one.
So yeah, it was. There's no winning, but it is so funny to think of a bunch of white people in a room being like, "What are we doing for the celebration?" And then one guy puts his hand up. He's like, "Fried chicken, right?" And everyone's like, "I don't do. Can we?"
Yeah.
Anyways, that's so funny.
And it's like, what else? And then they have to have this conversation. They go, what else do black people like? But the thing probably is like, go to like we were in Nashville and it's like we went to this like black owned restaurant and it's like literally a fried chicken restaurant. We ate mac and cheese. And
You know what it is? The only way, if you are going to be in this game, if you're old, hire a team and they have to be the ethnicity of whatever.
I mean, that's the obvious thing.
You go.
You
Whatever.
go,
That's
hey,
the only way you can do this.
Go grab go grab 3 employees. It's not even like a job. Be like, hey, we need some input from our 3 black employees at IKEA.
It's the only way you can
We're
do
gonna
this.
do this thing. What should the menu be?
Because they could do
you 3 tell us.
They might do the exact same thing.
Of course they are.
But then it would be fine.
Exactly. And then they'll go, what the fuck? And you go, oh, the 3 black employees picked it. And they go, sick. Let's go fucking get some fried chicken.
Yeah. You go, who did this? Was it fucking Dave?
Yeah.
Which one? Which Dave?
I read too. People were getting mad about it. I'd like to look this up to verify. Someone was like, "Do you know the history behind black people and watermelon? Something about like how they were only allowed to like eat watermelon." And I'm like when they were slaves. I'm like, I feel like that's probably not true.
I don't know that.
That one, I'm like, I find that hard to believe. They were just only fed watermelon. What a bizarre.
Well, so do you know what? So my chick is from. So do you know in Virginia?
Yeah.
This the whole town is in like uproar about this critical theory, the race theory stuff, right?
Like where she's from specifically?
Yeah, because so what's going on is, and it is a little complicated because so basically they're teaching the kids all this stuff, right? And they kind of, it's one of those things where everyone lies about it. You know what I mean? They go, what? It's just this. And you go, okay, like I don't believe you. It's very hard to believe anyone right now. And they go, all it is this. And you go, then why is everyone so mad about it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're like, well, they're just crazy. And I'm like, well, why am I reading all these articles that say something different? And they go, "Gah!"
Yeah. You can't believe everything you read.
So anyways, basically there's, people of all races at this school that aren't happy with it, right? And this is, so they're yelling at the teachers and it's a big uproar. So they did some like votes and apparently like 90% of parents are like, fuck no on this shit, right? Mm-hmm. Which all goes back to the original thing. It's like, you know what? Maybe everyone, if you live in Brooklyn, you should be able to teach your kids your bullshit. Let them teach their kid their bullshit. And like, does everyone really have to learn the same thing? I think that's probably the only rational explanation that's for a compromise here is people fucking teach their kids different things.
Like you can teach your kids stuff yourself.
Yeah, you're allowed to teach your kids to be a Mormon. You're allowed to teach your kids to be a Scientologist. You're allowed to teach your kids whatever you want. But are you allowed to teach other people's kids that? And that's the thing, right? But it is like kind of a bad look, even if you're a person that's, thinks this stuff's like a, kind of cult shit, right? Mm-hmm. They were like the last school to desegregate. Oh. And like their mascot for the football team was like the Confederate guy up until yesterday, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just, even if they think they have a good point, like you're just the bad poster school.
Literally the worst, yeah. Because
literally the
there's
worst.
So much ammunition against you.
So much ammunition against them. It's just not the. So it's a big like uproar, and it's
uproar from the state. Like who's getting mad?
Well,
like,
they're
people,
kind of like
not people in the city.
If you're living in that place, you basically. Oh, and then so there's one more thing. So they gave the teachers a medal. And then they had this money for COVID relief and they gave the teachers a $10K raise because like they were doing such a good job with the like critical diversity training or whatever.
Yeah.
So the parents are just like fucking blowing their gaskets.
Really yeah. Cause they're like,
yeah. You know what I mean?
They're at the point where we go, oh, like they're like, not even my tax dollars are going to this. It's like more of my tax dollars
extra.
are going.
They don't even want money for COVID to begin with. They're like, just open this place up. And then on top of that, they're like, hey, you know that money that you didn't want to spend on COVID? We actually spent it on this other thing that you hate. And these people are fucking losing their minds.
Is it a
right?
Republican city mostly? Because I know Virginia's all over the place.
I think it's a little all over the place, but this town is probably, a little bit for the most part. Yeah. Or probably a lot bit. But anyway, so it really is becoming a fucking debacle there, but it's not the right city to do it. So if you're in a city, so I was sort of thinking, if you're in a town like that, it's basically the equivalent is like if you're a white dude in that town, that all of this stuff with anything to do with slavery, like, and you're the town that was like, just has the worst history. You're basically living like you got caught cheating on your girlfriend and you stayed together and she brings it up every second.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like you're Bill Clinton.
You're living like Bill Clinton, where you live this.
Yeah, you literally got caught red-handed. She goes, "We'll stay together for the kids."
So my friend, he works at the universities and stuff like that, and he basically said, I've talked about this in the podcast, but he basically said that they go that we're not going to promote white guys for the next 10 years or whatever, and he goes, okay, I'm going to not work there or whatever. But the thing that kind of makes me, and this is just about, gender, it could be about.
It's funny though to say like whatever, because you're like, you think anything's going to change in 10 years? Like,
no,
it's like,
no.
Yeah.
Well, they want to get their numbers up, I guess, is the idea. But the thing that drives me crazy from like a logical perspective is that the math doesn't work out for these things. Like, so if they, I mean, it's literally the video we did about the, girls, don't want to be construction workers kind of situation, right? But you go, they said that has to be the minimum threshold of women has to be 50% in these faculties.
Yeah.
And then they said the minimum in this thing has to be this, right? So they go, if there's 14%, Native in the population, it has to be 14% minimum at the school, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And you go, okay, but if it's minimum, that means it can be higher, and that's going to have to come out of somewhere.
Yes, which also means that why do they deserve to be overrepresented?
But yeah, I mean, deserve or no deserve, if it's supposed to be 15% and it's 20 here, then it's 10 somewhere else.
Of course.
So the math has to work out.
I mean, there's zero way that you could have a perfectly balanced like pie of employees if you factor in every single intersectional thing. It's impossible. It's like, first off, you would need so many positions just to be able to make
doggy
it
style. Fucking ball gag in my mouth getting fucked.
Yeah, you need like so many different positions just to be like, you can't have like, say you have an executive team and there's only 7 people. You're like, how do you fit everything in there?
It's literally impossible. You'd have to have only works in law of large numbers.
Yeah,
and then anywhere that's underrepresented, it's going to take out from somewhere else.
The best was I was telling you when Caroline's I was with my girl and we were talking and we were talking about and like when we were talking about like TV writing, and then I was like, yeah, I'm like, but it's like it's hard right now because they don't really hire white guys and stuff for TV shows. And she's like, what? And she like had no idea this was going on. I was like, yeah, it's like, it's kind of hard if you're a white guy and you're like not really already in the system to like, cause they're just hiring all like, underrepresented, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, had no idea. Never heard of this.
She's living in a fucking
and she was like, a bit like, that's unfair. I go, based.
So another pander, which it turned out to be, it's a pander, but like a funny thing. So I don't know if you saw the Manhattan councilman dominatrix thing, which is incredible.
Also, that his last name is Wiener.
It's fucking too much, dude. A second dude do Wiener. The first guy named Wiener sends all the dick pics. Second guy.
By the way, if I
Wiener
see Wiener, we didn't talk about this, but Anthony Wiener lives in our hood.
He lives in our neighborhood.
If I see him, I'm gonna try and get him. I'm gonna be like, "Yo, come on the Boys Cast."
Dude, if we got Anthony Wiener?
Dude, he lives literally right by the Target.
The only thing I'd want to ask him, we could probably just message him, but the only thing I would ask him was like, how nice is the piece?
He'd probably whip. Imagine he just goes, "Show it to you.
Fuck it.
You guys want to see it?"
Dude, if that guy started an OnlyFans, I would love to.
I know he was saying something about. I know he was saying something about fucking NFTing the photo, but I don't know if that's
so fucking funny.
I think he missed the boat on that.
But this new guy, so another Wiener.
Another Wiener. That was maybe my favorite part about
insane.
It. Was the Wiener part.
So the photo comes out, shows like he's gagged, unable to speak. He's getting.
He has fucking clothespins on his nipples.
It's ridiculous, and this guy's running for office. And then it comes out, and this is like maybe speculation, but everything I've been seeing, it's like his own team has been the one sending this out to people.
I thought he was getting blackmailed or something.
Well, the New York Post, it came from him. So it's starting to shape up, and
this was just a play?
It's starting to shape up. So this guy, his campaign had less than $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
His fucking dad, by the way, is the guy who created Dora the Explorer.
So why did he have only 10 grand?
Well, because I don't know, his dad didn't, give him that Dora money. So this guy's got less than 10 grand in his campaign.
Looks like
his
Sam,
dad's,
looks like Sam
big
Feldman.
rich Hollywood guy. He's basically like, Dad, I don't want to get a job because I'm going to be I'm running for mayor. Like that's the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
He's running around New
trying
York.
to be
His
city
dad's
councilor.
paying for his rent. His dad's like, we talked about this. I thought you were going to get a job. He's like, I have a job. I'm running for mayor. And then apparently his campaign's not doing good. And then they put him on the map, and so he comes out and he was like, this is perfectly reasonable what I'm doing.
Yeah, what are you guys gonna kink shame me?
Yeah, that was his angle.
Essentially,
he thought he would be a hero for this, and this was like a play that they were making. So it got drawn to the attention of these blogs by his own team. And they're like, oops, we sent this to you.
Well, was it because it was out and he goes, we should get in, is it the getting in front of this? Because otherwise to control the narrative thing? They didn't release it though.
All the articles
some people
that
are
I
saying they
read
did,
said that it came from his campaign.
Honestly,
maybe he was like, oh, it was on one site and 4 people saw it. And he's like, we need to get out front of this. Dad, I need more money. I'm running a fucking publicity campaign to get out front of this. It's like, no one saw this.
I need more clothespins. We're going to fucking, what's interesting actually? So this is it talks about, this is at a famous BDSM place in, I think someone we know worked here.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. She literally, I think this is the place she worked at. It's
Dude, it's such
a
an
high-end
insane thing to do.
BDSM dungeon.
That's my least favorite thing in the world, but it's so crazy. You go to a BDSM place, put leather on, then a girl just abuses you.
Yeah.
You gotta be such a psycho.
Yeah, that's a real, literally she goes, hey, your credit card didn't go through. Oh, I just got to put the pen in. And he goes, okay, cool. I'm going to stomp on your balls now.
You're a little bitch. You're nothing. It's so insane. They're getting crazy with this stuff. I saw the Subway ads have always made me laugh, but so this is what he tried to come out and essentially, be a hero for this. And I can understand why. I'm on the subway in New York and there's an ad. It says, why does my sexuality matter when I'm just trying to cross town? And it goes, just so you know, it's illegal to discriminate against someone based on their sexuality when they're coming on the subway and this and that. And,
Yeah.
and you're just like, is that happening where gay guys are getting turned away from the subway? And you it's the old,
the subway literally has no bouncer. It's not a cab.
yeah, or anywhere, but you go in New York, is that happening? And you go, but the funny part is a gay guy, sparkles in hand, nipples out, tassels on, looking at you. Why does my sexuality matter? I go, yeah, I'm the one who cares. I'm the one who wants to get the word out.
Yeah, that's fucking.
So it's this.
I remember
guy too.
New York did have a thing for a long time where it's black people were legitimately I can't get a cab.
Yeah,
and that was a real
forever.
thing where they're like, we can't get cabs, so they won't stop.
Well, one of the reasons was, so this is true that it was harder to get a cab for a black guy. But what the reason is because they don't want to go to they don't want to go to Harlem.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Yeah, for sure.
So they that's why when they see a white guy, they go, oh, this guy's gonna make me drive to the Upper East Side. Obviously, fucking it's stereotype.
I'm
and
sure
all that
there's
sort of
other
shit.
factors than just that too.
Well, maybe, but that if you apparently a lot of cab drivers, that's the main, and it doesn't make it right or whatever. Whatever.
Yeah,
it just
of
is
course,
what it
of
is. I'm
course.
just saying
Yeah.
that's what you got. Some fucking Indian cab driver, and he goes, I don't want to fucking go to Harlem because then I'm up there, and those guys, and they don't
nobody
tip,
wants to,
and
and nobody wants to
think.
come back down. Well, nobody's also coming back.
No one's coming back down, and that
from
apparently
there.
that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
But whatever. It's a gripe. If it's one thing when someone goes, I can't get a cab. If they can't, that sucks.
Yeah.
But
But again, that was solved by Uber and all that stuff. So
yeah, that definitely solves all those problems. But okay, and then 2 more things before even I just feel like we have to talk about the trans weightlifter thing. It's one of those things that everyone talked about. And
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. It's top
I just
topic.
like to make
but I
one-
just want you to. I
one
want you to tell
contr-
me. I want a prediction. That's what I'm asking for.
I was literally that's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna make a contrarian prediction.
Okay.
Not gonna get a medal.
You think so?
Yeah, not gonna be in the top 3.
Okay, so this is the question. I mean, obviously, I told you I have no stance on this other than it's funny.
I mean, look, I've never watched weightlifting in the Olympics ever in my life. I'm going
I used to watch strongman competitions.
Strongman. I used to watch. I've never
ruled.
watched weightlifting.
Dude, the big balls and stuff.
Dude, I've never fucking. I'm going to have a viewing party for this. I am watching this competition.
We have to,
dude. I am fucking 100%
funny.
watching this.
You're right. We should do a viewing party of, dude.
I'm
that's
watching.
super
Like
funny.
the thing is, I'm watching this.
Yeah,
There's
me
no
too.
question. If they're in like. Gets past the qualifying. I don't know how weightlifting works. If there's a qualifying and then like a whatever medaling round. But if this person is in the medal round, I'm watching it.
Okay.
Because if they win, it'll be fucking insane.
best.
It'll regardless of what happens. And then if it doesn't, it'll be like the ultimate like you'll feel good story where you're like, look, great for these women. Like they actually like took down this
Yeah.
like Goliath type whatever.
Wow.
The women are David in this scenario. Also a dude.
Yeah, David and Goliath, like, and they're like, "Oh, you're saying that he's the woman's a trans woman's a Goliath?" Like, no, obviously she's David, a dude.
Yeah, dude.
So, but do you think? Okay, so basically, if they do really good,
Yeah.
then they'll get all the sponsors. The only reason why there's not more trans women is because there's not really a lot of money in it.
No.
Right? Like because it is that thing where it's like, well, they'll win all the events and maybe, but it's like, who cares? Because like no one gives
I mean,
a
first
shit,
off,
right?
this person is not going to be some sort of hero. They're going to be a hero to a tiny portion of
No,
people.
but hero or no hero.
Yeah.
When in the subway again,
Yeah.
there was a huge Gillette ad of this trans athlete, right?
Yeah.
That person got $2 million.
Yeah.
Okay? So my point is, it's not about hero or not. It's about, is there money in doing this? Like if you were a fucking, let's say you're kind of gay and then you're in,
I'm listening.
and you're in like, you just couldn't make quite the NHL. And if you go trans and fucking compete in that league, you can now get a $2 million. Like if those are pouring out,
of
the
course.
last 3 people that did this got a $5 million Nike contract. All of a sudden now it starts to make a little more sense for people.
Yeah.
Whereas right now you go, what? I become this big thing on the internet, but am I getting rich off?
I mean, I will say this too, because a lot of people like make this point. Like, I don't believe anybody is becoming trans to do sports. Like, they're not like not a trans.
not for free.
No, but I'm saying I don't think there's anybody who's legitimately,
I don't think so either right now.
Like, no,
but my point
who's going
is,
on like the testosterone or the hormone replacement therapy, all that stuff, and
No.
they're doing it just to win a fucking.
I don't think
female
anyone's doing that
powerlifting thing.
but they might if there's a $5 million paycheck.
I don't
on
think
it.
so, because I
This
don't.
is a country
if
full
she,
of scam artists.
Well, this chick's from New Zealand. First off, 2, I'm like, if she wins, I think she's not. It's not going to be well received because it's going to prove a lot of the fucking like reasonable people correct. Like, I think she's better off if she loses. Like in terms of getting sort of endorsements, because then she'll be like, not
See, this is fair.
They'll be like, see, this
Yeah.
is fair. She's just like living her truth, whatever. Like, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
so
yeah.
bad. Like, you're all
No
blowing,
advantage,
you're-
yeah.
No advantage. You're all blowing this out of proportion. Like, she didn't take anybody's medals. She didn't like none of that, right? Like, she was better than everybody else on New Zealand, but that still wasn't good enough to win a medal. Get over yourself.
How are other countries like if you're, Russia or China or whatever, they must think this stuff's wild right now.
No, dude, the fucking one of the most famous Olympic things was so when after World War II, Germany split up into 2 countries. There was East Germany and West Germany.
Yeah.
Right. And East Germany was Soviet controlled, I believe. And East Germany had this crazy fucking because like the Russians cheated everything.
Yeah.
And so they were like that. So it's like I think the '84 Olympics, all the East German women looked like men. Because they were all jacked up on all this crazy shit, and they won so many fucking medals because they were all in like testosterone.
Yeah, that's a different thing though.
I mean, it's sure. Well, no, not really. It's like if you go fucking trans female to male, you go on all this testosterone.
No. But my point is, there's a difference between doing this like for a culturally, socially acceptable reason.
Oh, you're saying for that.
and doing this because you're cheating, like, and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
know
yeah,
they're.
yeah.
None of those girls are like, I'm a man. They're all like, we're cheating.
We're cheating. Yeah. But
That-
they look.
That's a different thing.
Yeah. But
I'm
they all
saying,
look like men.
Well, but every, Iran doesn't think this shit. And the world has to, obviously in the last 10 years in America, or 5 years, or however quickly it happened, everything's flip-flopped and we have all these, super aggressive ideas on all this stuff, right? nothing's changed in a lot of those places.
No.
So most of those places, think about here, half the country's like, we don't think that, a guy should be able to transition and go in the women's sports. Imagine being in China and they go, what?
Yeah.
The Olympics are allowing what? Like, aren't these people having more of a conniption than fucking Tucker Carlson?
I think the Chinese thing would straight up be like, we will destroy them at all costs. Like a lot of them, they're just like, fine.
This is what, yeah.
Yeah, bring it. They're all just like, bring it with your fucking bullshit Western nonsense.
Well,
We'll
Chinese
fucking
have had a
defeat you.
propensity to cheat in the Olympics too. A lot of
course.
they would do. The oldest thing in the book was the age cheats.
Yeah, yeah.
They used to, you wouldn't know how old these were. I think they even used to do some of the guy and the girls too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because with those haircuts, who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows what you're getting?
So they used to do some of that kind of shit too. But anyways, the football player. There was a football player that got in trouble for
Carl to live or whatever.
He
or
went to trans. Did you see this?
The football player who came out as gay?
No, a football player went to.
Did you see the football player?
He met a guy on Tinder or whatever.
Okay.
Went to his house and it was a trans woman, and then he like stabbed him or beat him to death or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know this.
And now this guy is going to jail.
Oh, I had no idea. NFL player?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I saw. Did you see the Carl Nassib or whatever? He's on the Raiders, and he came out the other day and he goes, "Hey, everybody, just want to let you know I'm gay."
Yeah.
And then he was the number one.
Oh, that guy popped off immediately. Yeah.
So he's the number one jersey.
Telling you, there's
but
money
listen,
being made in
listen.
this stuff,
He's the
yeah.
number one jersey sale in the NFL. Then literally the next day they find out he's a Trump supporter. So it's like all those people who bought those jerseys are like having to burn them the next day.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's a fucking registered Republican. He's from like Nebraska or something.
Oh, god damn.
Yeah, so it's like all these people are like,
it's Caitlyn Jenner all over again.
dude, they're so mad. They had like they had like 12 hours of being like of celebrating, and then someone like the funny thing
And
is,
he donated
you know what
money
the
to, like, the
derangement
LGBT.
too is the derangement of people is they go like someone at some point goes, all right, we got to go like. Congrats, this guy's gay. Let's look him up in the database of registered Republicans to just happen to see if he's in there. And then they're like, oh shit, he's in there. Yeah.
Dude, the derangement. I've been thinking that like the derangement that happened to people in the last little while, it's almost like a prank. Like it's almost like they're pranked because you basically give people a scenario where there's no way for them to succeed, right? So you go, look, you have to, if you Trump is the worst thing in the world. You have to stay in your house. And if you leave your house, you like Trump.
Yeah.
You have to actively campaign against yourself at your job.
Yeah. Just destroy yourself.
Like you
it's like the
you have to
purity
think all that
test
stuff.
You gotta, you
It really is like a prank. You go. I guess I did that like social justice prank video, but it's literally imagine you say, hey, what if? Do you think we could convince this guy that he loves Trump and if he leaves his house?
Yeah, if he leaves his house, his Trump.
Tell him he has to wear a mask, like when
on
he's
the
having sex, or he likes Trump.
Yeah, exactly. Or people will think he likes Trump.
Or people think he likes Trump. So
I mean, the amount of people we know who probably will just keep wearing masks outside forever just to fucking not be seen as a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Even in like Canada, and you're like, nobody even gives a shit.
Oh my God. Okay, before we continue with the episode, we got the new studio and we're going to be taking some sponsors, one a week probably. And as always, the no sponsors are on the Patreon episodes. But I took, this week, I took this place because they're Canadian and it's Fume is the best way to quit smoking and vaping naturally. So it's like a vape, but it doesn't have like nicotine and all that stuff in it. So it's Canadian man handcrafted wooden inhaler, no electronics, and cores filled only with the benefits of super plants. No electronics, harmful chemicals, or nicotine. So
It's pretty cool. So no battery required.
yeah, it's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So it's naturally helps with the hand-to-mouth habit, nicotine cravings, menthol cravings, quitting stress. I actually, see, my thing is I don't get like addicted to cigarettes or anything like that, but I kind of like fucking doing it. So I kind of like, especially if I'm drinking.
Yeah.
I'm known to fucking hack a dart when I'm drinking.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm the guy, I always will, like when we start getting popped off on the White Claws, I'll buy like a pack and then throw it away at the end of the
that
night
used
kind
to
of
be my
thing.
move. I used to do
Or I
that a
just give
lot.
it to, I always give them to a homeless guy if I do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
speed up the process for them.
so you go to breathethefume.com, check out their quit naturally pack. Quit's the word we're looking for. It comes with the fume and 2 packs of Conquer cores. And you'll get the journey, breathing free of addiction, $30,000 customers served, nearly 5-star rating, over 1,000 quitting testimonials, nearly a dozen unique cores, and the unique aromas and benefits. Make sure you use the promo code BOYS for 10% off, and that's breathethefume.com/boys, where you can go insert the code. So one thing that I want to talk about, and also always, this is something that everyone should know, is always whenever we do a sponsor, we're going to do extra time that week too to make up for it. And we're spending it on all sorts of cool stuff. We just fucking, with the people we're partnering here, we just put in a fucking hefty order for equipment.
Oh, yeah.
It's breaking my bank, dude.
Ooh.
I'm working, it's with chicks, dude.
It's
so
like, it's one of those things too where
they be spending, dude.
It's one of those purchases where your credit card calls you up and they go, "Hey, we wanted to make sure this was you."
Legitimately, dude.
They go, "Was this you?"
I
go,
it's
"Yes."
it's a
And then like
lot.
the credit card person's like, "God damn, and you
Dude,
go, "Yeah,
we're
I know."
literally building a studio that either like, who is it? Who are you, Joe Rogan? Like the amount of fucking, it's nuts, but whatever. We're going to have cool guests on and we want it to look good and all that sort of stuff. But, so one thing we're going to do on the Patreon is answer some questions this week. But I thought one question that I thought it'd be cool to answer, and then we had something else to talk about too. But I thought this is an interesting question.
Yes.
Because someone said, you know, I wonder if Tucker Carlson would like your impression because you're making fun of him. But also, he was like, I wanted to know what you said because sometimes you guys will sit on the fence on things and say that's a good position to be. With America under attack, will you defend the fence you sit on or you stand by as it gets destroyed? So sort of attacking.
Like if America's under like
Well, they're saying
actual,
America
like,
is kind of under attack culturally right now.
Right.
It's kind of the idea. And, you know, you said you've always getting probably accused more than anyone of like sitting on the fence or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think about this sort of thing a lot, and we'll sort of both answer this. But the first thing that the best way that I would describe it's like you have to, for one, I'm not sitting on the fence on comedy.
No.
You know what I mean? You go, first of all, what's your goal? I have very strong positions. And the other thing to talk about is, no, I'm sitting where I sit. And the fence is irrelevant to me where you guys decide to put a fence.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I sit where I sit.
It's
and I think what I think.
Yeah.
And when people put fences on, if you're a fucking comedian and someone says, here's where the fence is, what side you going to be on? I go, I'm not moving.
Yeah, the fence moves, exactly.
The fence moves. I thought the best
It's
way
the
to
same with
describe
the left wing, right wing.
And when people a lot of times say they like to say that's easy, you know, that's like, so there's some honor in fucking being on a side the entire time. You know what I mean? I go, picture this. First of all, it's way easier to fucking grow if you just go hard line down one side, for starters.
Yeah.
But it's less respectable. Picture it going to jail. You know, and a lot of this stuff is jail politics sort of shit, right? But you go, imagine you're a guy that went to jail and they go, hey, black, and you go, this is what I think about racial stuff. I mean, I got friends of all races and whatever, you know, all that sort of shit. Grew up, you know, don't have any sort of prejudice to any races. And they go, hey, you know what would make your life easier? It's like, you go, hey, we're blacks with the blacks and the whites with the whites in jail. Yeah. You pick your racial group. The fucking Nazis come over to you. They go, are you with us or against us? I go, what's easier? Being like, all right, I'm just on my fucking side of whites.
Yeah.
Or is it easier to
I
be
have friends now,
or is it to be, you know, oh, I'll just be on my own little island.
Yeah, and just be
What's
by myself.
easier?
Yeah, for sure. Be by myself and just fucking.
Yo, I'll get my white power tattoo.
Yeah.
So you go, there's that part of it. But I do understand like where they're coming from. But you know, where they go, yeah, but like all this stuff's coming, and then you go, okay, well, for starters, partisan people help fucking not that much. Like whatever problem you think, you know, solving. It's like, you know, with the conservatives or whatever, it's like the idea that these people fucking conserve jack shit.
Yeah.
You go, Trump was in for fucking this many years. Did that help? Is it better? Or did that, to be honest, engage it, like light everything up so everyone hates you more?
Yeah. Also, like everybody thinks that America's under attack on both sides.
Yeah.
Like
always.
nobody's like, you know, I'm sure there's a piece of, you know, that's not, but like there's people on the left and the right who are like, America's under attack.
Right.
So which one is it?
Well, I guess where I would say that I understand where they're coming from is that the one that has the most power is probably the most current threat.
Yes.
Like when you go, and especially in our industry and whatever, it's like, this is the conversation I have with a lot of people where if they try to say you're two on one side or whatever, and you go, well, which one of those two sides is telling me what to do right now? It's obviously one side has more power and more media power and blah, blah, blah. But,
Definitely the media.
A lot of people are probably working behind the scenes, fucking, funding big things on both sides and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it all boils down to who has the power.
But again, it's like, the Republicans were in charge for 4 years. And even still, it's like it actually gave the left more power. It was actually worse for them.
That happens all the time
with
partisan people. And that's what I was sort of saying last week too, where I go, a great comedian, you spend so much time, trying to break down these concepts in your mind and then make them really funny and then deliver them in a way that people go, yeah, that makes sense. As opposed to yelling at someone. So this has literally been my criticism of like all the fucking, comics that hated Trump is like, you're not saying anything.
Yeah.
You're just, you know what I mean? These people on their side and you go, so you don't go be the opposite. This ideologically driven comedian that is here to like on a mission.
I mean, there's a part of me too who feels all the people who were like hysterical about Trump. I'm like, and then just like, the world's just normal still. And I'm like, you guys owe me something. I don't know what, but I'm like, you owe me something. Cause it's like, you guys were fucking bitching for 5 fucking years about this shit. And then it's just like, okay, so it's pretty normal. Kids in cages still. It's
you guys owe me one.
You owe me something.
All the people that messaged you and said that like, if you don't support this, the world's going to end.
Yeah, the world, all the fucking literally the sky is falling, Chicken Little people. And then it's just like, everything. And because forever I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be fine. And they're like, oh, must be fucking nice to just like not have to care about anything. And I'm like, no, it's just if you look at kind of history, it's like this will just be kind of a blip on the radar and we'll just be back to normal. And just like we are back to normal. And I guess people will be like, well, there's a pandemic or whatever. But you're like, yeah, it wasn't his fault. Everybody had a pandemic.
Yeah. I am on the tip a little bit. I mean, we were talking about this the other day, but the tip that it's like, there is a lot of fucking wild shit happening behind the scenes when you go to, even the idea that like wages fucking, haven't gone up and all this stuff. There is all this, stratification. People are fucking depressed and losing their jobs. And I think they're real problems.
Yeah.
But it ain't all fucking this shit,
No,
and
not at all.
You don't want to become someone's puppet. And the best thing is to say it's like every reaction has its opposite reaction. And that idea that with like even just being great or whatever, where it's like, you need to be confident on your own, what you want in life, or you just get swept up in some other people's shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of the thing is where they go, oh, I want my side to win. Okay. How do you win? You know what I mean?
They don't. It's just, they have so little like meaning in their life.
You don't win, you fight, you become a soldier.
Yeah.
And that happens to too many people. And
again,
don't let it happen.
It's the people like, all the Trump people or the anti-Trump people who Trump's out and they're probably like just kind of now being like, oh, that didn't really work out. Like
I wasted 4 years of my life.
Yeah. I go, okay, so my identity was like an anti-Trump guy for 4 years. He's gone naturally. And then now what? You're like,
yeah.
Do you really feel like, you had some giant win and everything's just like way better now and it was so bad before?
I know, totally. Yeah.
I mean, he's if you hated his guts, he was literally on the news fucking 24/7, and so he's off the news 24/7. I guess that's a win for you.
And honestly, it's I think that a lot of people there's some comfort in you go, hey, when I listen to this guy, I know what he's gonna say. I know I'll here's him funneling it through the right wing. But here's him. But the biggest, there's a reason why people like Joe. Joe Rogan's popular. Because would you want to hang out with a friend? Everyone has a friend where their fucking opinions before they say it. Mm-mm. You go, I know what you're going to think about this. Everything you say, I already know on this issue, this issue, this issue. Because you're so fucking predictable. No one wants to listen to that person. And I don't think it's good to be that person either.
Hell no. It's
yeah,
fucking NPC shit.
I think that's a pretty good explanation to the fence stuff. So anyways, there's more questions like that. But before we wrap, one thing that we should... but an interesting thing to talk about. And Danny's the editor for Hard Money, and we're going to do a collab video with them coming up. Elon Musk thing coming up soon. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So Danny, this is where Boys Cast listeners, Danny fucking made a recommendation. Was it on the Patreon or the normal?
I don't remember. So, I think on the page. Actually, it was because it was with Chris.
So
Danny this is what you're losing out on.
But Danny made a recommendation. Yeah, I guess, right? Yeah. Danny literally said this. I've been saying Danny's been fucking doing stocks and all sorts of scams his whole life. He always had these little fucking investments in weird companies. He told this trade, he goes, I recommend everyone who listens to this podcast do this. And Danny made a fucking king's ransom.
Hey, yeah, I'm crazy.
All right,
yeah,
tell
so
the
basically what the
trade.
trade was, and I put it on 2 weeks ago.
However much money you think he made, it was more. Now that number, it was more than that. Now the number you're thinking of now, it was more than that.
It was, yeah. However much money you think I made is how much I'm going to have to pay in taxes on it. But
fucking wild, dude.
yeah, it was a crazy sum of money. So anyways, Dogecoin crashed 2 days ago. The trade was long Bitcoin, short Dogecoin, comparable amounts that I talked about on the Patreon a week ago. I think it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago with Chris, one of them. But anyways, that was the trade. I put it on.
You mentioned it a couple times.
I mentioned it a couple times. Basically, the trade was I was playing for a Dogecoin crash because I thought Dogecoin was just like way overvalued. And with Elon Musk and all this stuff, like I just thought it was like Dogecoin was done. It was a shit coin. And Bitcoin had a risk of going down, and then like Dogecoin would just crash, and then it literally did, dude. In my group chat, because I have all these like finance.
And the hedge was the idea was that because they moved kind of the same, but Dogecoin goes more.
So
that
Bitcoin was down
he
like
did long, so he hedged with a long and a short, and he leveraged at like.
and
40
it was
times.
highly 20 times leverage. So on Monday, Bitcoin was down like 7%, and Dogecoin was down like 35%. Like it was like basically that's when it really fell apart. In my favor, and like literally everybody in the group chat was like yelling at, like Enrique was literally like this guy who works with hard money, who's the owner of it or whatever. He was like, close out the fucking position. He's like, you fucking
He's yelling
idiot.
at you?
Dude, he's like, you fucking idiot. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, close it out.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, I was about to. Like, I had an order in, and here's the interesting thing. So I had an order in, and it was like I had set it like, days earlier
Yeah.
at the 200-day moving average, where I was like, I'm going to close it, which was like 15 cents. And then it crashed down to like 16.5 cents. And
So you went so much further than the moving order.
well, no. And so anyways, it crashed down to
average.
16.5 cents. I had a buy order at 15 cents, which would close the position. And then it just like didn't get there. And then I'm watching it. I'm like, man, I'm going to feel like an asshole if this is the bottom. And I just had a buy order in like just slightly below, and it never hits
So
it.
you sold it.
So then they're yelling at, so I ended up covering it at like 17.50. Where the bottom was 16.50, but I would have got it. Like I had a number of chances to get back down.
The funny thing, so that was it was very cool. But
Maybe I'll start giving. The thing is, I don't want to give like I'm not going to give any actual like I'll say what I'm doing. I'll never say to do it. Like
no, it's
I
not
don't
financial
wanna,
advice.
Yeah, I don't want to cost people
but
money.
okay, so
like,
that was the part. But the interesting part that I think where you were interesting. I mean, first of all, that type of money stresses people out. Like I think people listening to that. It's kind of that fatigue thing we were talking about, but hearing someone just fucking made so much money doing some shit like that really makes everyone go like, I'm fucking doing it wrong. Like, it's stressful almost.
It was stressful for me, dude. I was literally like, I
But it's
was
stressful
waking
to
up in
hear
the
about
middle
from
of the
other
night.
people.
Yeah.
Like, dude, anyone hearing that just is like, am I fucking living my life? Like everyone reevaluates when they hear shit like that.
I mean, it was
right?
a straight like bet. It was, it was a super like asymmetrical. That's what you'd call it. It was a super asymmetrical bet.
Okay, so I understand all that, but I'll tell you what my larger point is.
Yeah.
It stresses people out who are doing it normal, hearing that someone's not playing by the rules.
Sure.
It's like even when comedy stresses people out that we're not following the rules of what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, of course,
what
of
we're supposed to
course.
make. People who were like, no, work hard, get a job, and then Danny's like just made a fucking fortune in a week. Everyone's like, it fucking kind of fucks with your brain a little.
Yeah,
bit, right?
for sure. But I mean, dude, it's the American,
You are an anomaly,
it's
though.
the American
Like,
dream.
People. I'm a little more like in your face type of guy.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of knows who I am and likes or doesn't like pretty immediately. Where you sort of a slow burn where almost every one of my friends that like you didn't know, it'll be after like 2 or 3 times hanging out with you. It'll be like, that Danny guy is a pretty interesting guy, eh? Like, because you're like an anomaly of a human being. Which is, but the interesting part too is, and you do this and I do this, which I think is probably good. You make 0 changes based on how much money.
Nothing.
You just made.
Literally, my girlfriend goes. She's like, so It's like what she's like because she kept saying because I kept like
she's like, so what do I get?
I told her when I was like up like the first couple days, like the second day of the trade, and it was up like quite a bit, and I was like, I'm up like this, and this is when all my friends were like my dad and Matt were like, dude, cash out, like you're up a bunch of money in 2 days, right? And I told her, and she's like, are you not going to cash out? I'm like, no, I'm pretty hedged. I'm like, I don't think there's really any downside, so I'm just going to keep going, and like it's working, so like why touch it if it's working, right? That was my thing, and I kept fucking tinkering with it, and every time I tinkered with it, I would be like, I shouldn't have tinkered with it, and I just put it back on, and just like I'm like, I just got to leave it, because the problem with crypto is it trades 24 hours a day, so it's like it doesn't. There's no like, it's not like the stock market where it closes and you just don't think about it.
See, you're getting in the intricacies of the trade right now.
Yeah,
I'm more.
But anyways, all I'm
that.
saying is she goes, she's like, aren't she kept like. I would give her updates because the position kept going up and up, and she's like, and then it would like it would jump up like a
so
size.
Do you have to buy her shit now?
I mean, we're going. I already do. We're going to Jazz Fest actually in New Orleans.
So you're gonna bring her to Jazz Fest?
Yeah, we're gonna do
New
that
Orleans.
in New Orleans in October.
All right, maybe I'll come to that. With
yeah,
you.
that'd be a sick rip. But
maybe
so
fucking get Waldo to come. Get the fucking squad.
Yeah, but she kept being like, she's like, aren't you excited? She's like, you made so much money. Like, aren't you excited? I was like, I don't know, no.
Well, it
doesn't excite me.
But you don't buy new shoes. But I was that too.
Money doesn't excite me.
I've been.
It's more the game.
I've made more money and less money, and I've spent the exact same. And the only thing that I decided.
Oh, I will say this. Actually, I did buy something.
What?
I bought I bought two things actually. Cards. I bought a 19.
Yeah, but you bought more investment.
But they are more investments.
You're
exactly.
Shut the fuck up. You stupid idiot.
It was pretty expensive. Slick card though.
That's like me saying like I have more money, so I'm buying a studio now. And it's like, no, you didn't. Like,
yeah.
That's just part of the
same
I don't.
Game. Matt goes, like, he goes, you should buy like. He's like, are you gonna buy anything? And then he was like, you should maybe buy a watch. And I like in my mind, I've like for men.
I want a fucking watch.
But I was like, I was thinking about this last summer I was like, maybe I'll be a watch guy. Remember? And I bought that white fucking whatever watch, and I was like, just to get in the idea of wearing a watch. And it's like, and then I'm like, I'm just not a watch guy. And then I'm like, the idea of like spending $5,000 on a watch, and then I'm like, so I have this thing that's $5,000 on my arm, and it's like just stressful. I'm like,
it's stupid.
And then I'm like, a watch. I don't like.
Well, I think that you grew up Jewish like that too, which maybe had some of that too. But like, I kind of grew up in a way that, and it sort of seems weird, but it's almost like you're embarrassed to fucking floss. You know
I am.
what I mean?
Absolutely I am.
Yeah.
I know so many people who'd be like fucking literally being like, here's my bank statement right now.
Yeah,
and I'd be like, I don't know.
Right. It's almost like even the same way that having, like, sometimes I feel like this around other people with, I think maybe that's sometimes being in tune with like not being a dick or something, but it's like, even like, I remember sometimes when I was like dating like hot chicks, cause I'm sick like that. Yeah. And then fucking you'd be with like some of your boys that just like beat up fucking country wives. And I'd literally, if you showed up with like a fancy fucking Instagram hoe, I'd have to, be very like, but she's
yeah, you'd have to talk her down in so many ways.
You know
yeah, she's got a fake leg. You gotta really talk.
I would though.
Yeah.
It's like showing up with. You feel like it's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. Yeah.
To be fucking in your face with money, and I think.
Yeah. Plus, honestly, in my thing, just the way people feel about billionaires right now, I don't want to flex like that.
I think it's also a little Canadian too that it's like rude to have money. Like, dude, when I was growing up, my dad had some cash, and we were eating off the kids' menu when we were 25. Like, it was, like, you know what I mean? Not 25, but like the way too old. He wore used hockey equipment. Like doing well, and he plays with. He buys used hockey skates like for his game.
Yeah.
Adult man, all the kids, everyone's like everything's used, everything's like off-brand cereals, all that shit. Like it was just you don't live like that. I mean,
look, if you fucking like blowing money, then whatever, good for you, I guess. I don't know. That doesn't bring me any.
I don't buy nothing.
Brings me zero.
And girls, so that's the. By the way, when that was the ultimate him thing, but like my dad, like now that everyone's out of his life, my brother's 18, so there's no divorce payments because of him being. Then he was like, all of a sudden out of nowhere, he's like, couple ATVs, like, you know what I mean? He got a motorcycle, the trifecta. Yeah. But the what was I gonna say? That like, sort of the only thing that I feel like it was changed for me, and tell me if you agree. The only thing that changed in my mind is it bothers me less buying shit for my chick. Like if a girl's like, let me go on a vacation, blah, blah. If it's like a big portion of my money and I'm just like, okay, you better fucking not bother me. But if
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like throwaway amounts of money, now once you have lots of money, it kind of feels like a girl, you bought her a drink and she was whatever.
Yeah, I see. I've always really done that, anyways. Like,
Yeah, you're a punk
I'm
bitch.
a simp. I'm literally a simp loser.
Danny's a simp.
I'm a simp loser.
Yeah, you've always done that even when
I've
you
kind
were
of
with
did
them.
yeah, even when I wasn't fucking doing this. So it's like, I don't know. That's the thing. I think the trip would be like
You would have done that anyway.
Yeah, I want because I was supposed to.
You've
go to
made
Jazz Fest
zero
last year.
changes to your life. You
Yeah,
still
I'm
dress
not-
like a bum.
Ah.
You still fucking...
Dude, I haven't bought a pair of shoes in like I think a year.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. Me and Danny are flying out to fucking Naples. This is the day after he became, the world's richest man.
Yeah.
And Danny messages me. He's like, hey, if we fly at Newark, we can save $40. He goes,
It was more than that.
No, it wasn't.
200.
I know, not with the cabs and everything.
I didn't factor
it
in
was
the cabs.
so it's like if me and Danny want to get up earlier and drive fucking an hour outside of the city,
No, but
we can each save $40.
And also we risked like we had a 30-minute stopover.
No, I know, but there was other flights.
Yeah.
But it's like this
Dude,
is the
I'm
day after.
I'm frugal. I don't know what to tell you. It's just how I'm
I
wired.
think it's better.
Yeah.
Dude, it really is like a wiring your head thing where you
Like
go,
the thing is, I will.
I don't want to fucking.
The thing is, like someone will be like, "You're cheap." Like my girlfriend will sometimes be like, "I'm cheap." I'm like, I'll literally drop a bunch of money on a vacation that I want to do.
By the way, I'm
Like,
cheap. Like the fucking audacity
I know.
of you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pull out
shit
the
is-
statements,
but
woman.
not saying it seriously because it'll be something like I'm cheap where I'm like, oh, let's take like the subway instead of like a $50 like random
Yeah.
Uber, and it's just like no, I just like don't like waste.
That happened to you the other day.
Yeah, I just
we
don't.
came
like,
back from Caroline's. He's world's richest man. He's like, he didn't want to take an
No,
Uber
that was
day.
that was
I
quicker.
know.
That was quicker. But again, no. But sometimes it will be just like a $50 Uber.
World's
that's-
richest Dan.
or like a fucking $2.75, whatever. But it's like I just don't like wasting money. I don't care about blowing money. I'll blow money, dude. It's like I'll go to the casino.
Can't
and blow
do
a bunch
it.
Of money.
It ain't me.
Yeah.
But you're not blowing money at the casino
But
because
that's-
you might make money at
But
the casino.
and I don't consider it wasting it because I'm like getting enjoyment out of it or whatever, dude. I went
Yeah,
to
the enjoyment that you might get more money. You fucking.
But even if I lose money, I still had the fun of being at the casino
Yeah.
and getting drunk or whatever.
I've never seen you have. Yeah, but you're not capable of having as much fun when there's no chance of you
Dude,
getting
literally
more money.
ask Heather the first time we went to the casino in Florida. I lost $1,000, and she's like, "Are you upset?" And I was like,
No, I'll get it back.
"Yeah, no." I was like, "No."
You go, no, it's cost of doing business.
Yeah,
That means
it's-
next time I'm gonna win.
Yeah, it's like game's the game, Like
That's the game, motherfucker. But anyways, it's interesting. So anyways, I suggest fucking following when Danny has like good.
listen to the
trade.
Patreon. I'll only give financial advice on the Patreon.
Yeah, and when on here it's not financial advice. On Patreon it is
Financial
And I
advice.
just want to say that was financial advice.
That was not financial advice.
But yeah, and then on top of that, I honestly do think being the fancy shit guy is like
It's a
rapper
trap.
shit.
It's just
That's-
like I don't know. It's a trap.
or white trash or whatever. It's just trash
Yeah, I
shit.
don't know. Again, it's like I did entertain the idea of buying a nice watch. I've looked at nice watches, and then I'm like, what? No, I'm
are we
not. I'm not a
doing
watch
here?
guy.
What are we doing?
I'm not
here?
gonna be a watch guy. I just not that guy.
Yeah,
I can't do it. I don't know.
frugal boys.
But I did buy some very nice baseball.
Yeah, the only thing I
cards.
really spend a ton of money on is stuff with cameras.
Yeah.
Studios, sets. Like when I'm doing the sketches, I
Of
blow
course.
$1,000 on locations. I spend money to make fucking comedy.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's the only thing I really spend money
trips
on.
like a trip. I will spend fucking a grip
trip to the brothel.
grip of cash on a trip. No problem. I'm happy to. Or a meal or whatever. But
Okay, well, thank you everyone for who came out this fucking week too to New
Yeah,
York.
that was
It was
sick.
Caroline's. It was
That was
awesome, like
sick.
meeting everyone, and
Fuck
we got a
yeah.
whole ton of shows coming up. Patreon.com/The Boys Cast. New episode every week. Thank you for listening to the cast. This has been The Boys Cast.
peace.